Hey you, it's me. And I didn't really see anybody talk about this, so I'm gonna talk about it. Here in Amber's, well, her latest video to date, she's doing her mother's hair for Pride, which honestly I thought was kind of sweet. That's nice. And she outs her mom about having had a relationship for 5 years with another woman, which is fine, doesn't matter. Now she's with a man. Um, but then she kind of forces this story about how Amber came out. And the thing is that wasn't how Amber came out. That was Casey's story, his coming out story. And I don't know. That's my kitty, Jack. She says hi. I just don't understand it. To me, it just shows that Amber is not the only unreliable narrator here. Her mother is as well. If her mother here is willing to lie about Amber's coming out story, that was Casey's. I think it'd probably be more interesting to hear Amber's actual story, if there is one, about her coming out. And maybe some of it did go down like they described, where Amber's mom said, I know more about you than you think I do. And Amber said, no, you don't know me. And then maybe her mother did say, I know that you're dating a girl, or I know that you're a lesbian, or, something like that. Like, that part seemed almost believable, but her finding a note in Amber's pants pocket, that was Casey's story. And I think it's really gross that Amber would have her mom lie. I think it's really gross that her mother, although honestly seemed a little resistant to the story, still did it for Amber. I mean, I guess that's good. I guess it's nice that they have a relationship where they're willing to lie for each other. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good relationship or not. I just thought it was really strange and weird. And like I said, it sounded very forced, the way Amber like, oh, and remember mom, when this happened, remember mom, that it was forced. And I don't know, it kind of ticked me off a little bit. And that's the one thing about Amber that bothers me the most. She probably has some interesting stories, things that happened to her in her life that are interesting, that I think people would want to hear. And I think that she could tell an interesting story. The problem is you never know if it's real or not, because she'll lie about everything. If you tell her she's wearing a green shirt, she'll say, no, it's blue. And for no particular reason. That's always been, I know, my little pet peeve. I hate people that lie so consistently all the time, and they're inconsistent with what they lie about, so that everything they say is suspicious. And Amber is definitely one of those people. And I just don't know why. Her mother is there. Why didn't they tell the real story? Maybe her mother just knew. I still think part of that story where she said, I know more than you do, could have been a real part of the story. Why not tell the real story? Why do you have to lie and tell Casey's story? Leave him alone, for goodness sake. He's had enough. And we've all had enough, I think. But yeah, it would be interesting to hear the real story. I think most people have interesting coming out stories. And this is Pride Month. So, why not say what actually happened? Maybe it's not as interesting. Maybe it's not as exciting. maybe it needs to be embellished slightly, which is something we know Amber is very good at. But tell the real story, for heaven's sakes. Stop stealing other people's lies and truths and whatevers. Get your own. Get your own story, Amber. That's all. It'd be probably more interesting than this lie you keep perpetrating. It's just not true. And forcing your mother's hand into it, not true and not nice. Anyway, that's all I gotta say.